You'll be able to find this under CSGO scale samples under my repo, and then you will see under scripts color chart. This is the script, and this is the guide on how it works. The links will be in the description in Discord chat. So the first thing we want to do is use the doIncludeScript function, reference where the script is located, then apply null afterwards. We also imply this inside an if statement, and we check if it's not been found or there's any issues. We print an error. That doesn't get executed, we're fine. That means it has been referenced. So we take notice in this here. We use the e7 color dot chat all. Notice that e7 color is the table from here. This is the table that we're referencing from here. We use string notation for the color. So notice as you use pink in capital locks inside brackets. And then we force normal back in again, and then we change it to purple. And anything after the brackets will be that color. And when we hit this point here, it'd be light green. So if we go back to here and look at the colors, let's use light red. Copy that and go to chat all. So this will print to everyone in the chat. So I'm going to change light green into light red. And all I have to do is Control S, and that saves it entirely. And that's all we have to do for this to work. This here is the function to chat to everyone. This is a function to chat only to people who are counter-terrorists. And we have chat T to chat to the terrorist teams only. And we have an extra function called alert, which just simply closes the function here. And sadly, alert messages cannot be custom colors, which is quite sad. Here we are in Hammer. All we have to do is F9 to fast compile, and that's us good to go. And also this tutorial here will be out soon. While we wait, you can join the Discord channel when I try my best to be here all the time. Let's join the CT side for a laugh. And then you'll be able to see in the chat that the colors are working, which is pretty good. So we can change this obviously at any time we want. All we have to do is pause the game, jump out of the game, go to our Visual Studio, look at the colors we have, and now let's go for orange red. Copy this in capital letters or caps lock, go over here, change the light red into dark red, make sure it's in brackets, then we just pop back into the game, and we restart the game, and then you see the action like that. And now it's hard to see, but that is a little bit lighter than the red here. Let's go for dark blue. Highlight all of that, paste it in capital letters, jump back into the game, restart the game, and you'll see the change happen in real time.
Let's roll.
So if you open up the chat, notice now that's blue. So we have red, orange red, and then dark blue. As easy as that. Now, let's go into the basics of how the parser works. Notice as you use local decoration instead of a new slot operator. This means the table is defined into its own scope within the script. No other script can add or use it apart from the script itself. Each table will contain slots, which are keys and values, which can be accessed using strings in square brackets, or if it's predefined, we can use the dot notation to access the key individually. We have another local table called bracket, which contains the ASCII code number of the open and the closing curly bracket. This will come handy in the algorithm to parse the brackets. Notice both tables are coded locally, which means no other scripts can use them. Before we step through our parser, let's look at line 71, where we implement a fake namespace by using the global table. This is to prevent naming convention errors once other people start to use the script. This comes handy later on. For us to bind a function, we need to use double colons to bind a function to a table. So we're going to bind chat all function to a table. So now for us to access it, we have to call e7 color table to access the function. Now the function that we use is not a part of the global scope. So we need to use 3 variables to include it into the function. We can do this by using the colon and brackets. So we need to tell Squirrel what local function to put into the function scope. We want to use generate output for the function to work. We now create a local scope variable called text, which reference our free variable function generate output, where our argument would be text from the function parameter. We then validate if it returns error in capital locks, return the function and end it at that point. If not, then we execute the CSGO function to print to the chat. Simple as that. We're now at the main logic of the script. This is the parser that parses the text into colourful text. We have a local function called generate output, which is binded to a function with a parameter of text. Use a colon because we want to use v variables to include the colour and the bracket script into the script's function. This is important so the function knows how to call it because it's out of the range of the scope. We have a local variable called len for the length of the text. We have I for the iteration over the characters. This is important later on. We have two strings, build to build the colour, and string out to build the final string to print out. This is important because we need string build for us to find the right colour. While I is less than len, we're basically iterating through every character as a separate character. If the current character of the current index is equivalent to the bracket open of the ASCII key, this is us starting to build the string of the colour. This is where bracket notation comes in to help us form the colour. We need to imply a fix, as if there's no gap in the front, the colour will not display in the chat. So if there's no gap in the front, the game will not print out the coloured text. We jump by 1 because we want to ignore this current bracket. We use the same loop expression from above, and now we want to validate if the current character at this current time is equivalent to the bracket close. So we're checking if it's matched the end of the line, and if it's so, we'll break the iteration as we reached our colour. If we haven't, then we have to build on top of the local variable string build. Then we iterate it by 1 to get the next character, and then we keep doing this until we hit the end, and once we do, we want to jump out of that character. Now, since we've got colour, we now need to validate if it's a part of the scope. And if it has been a part of the scope, that's great. What now we're going to do is append that to the string out of the colour code, and then we're going to reset the string build by declaring it as empty. If it's not in part of any colour, we will print out we can't accept that colour, and then we're going to return error. If that's all good, then we just jump out, append it to the string out character, iterate it by 1 and go for the next character until we hit the end, and then we return it out as the final parsed result.